finally back at the track, and we've pulled the cars out yesterday. They've been sitting for like 3 years now, and they're pretty green looking, but we'll have a wander around and see what's happened over the 3 years. My car that was white is now green. It's collected a lot of new rust that wasn't in places where it was before, but the main thing is like, it's really like slimy and mossy and stuff now. It started, we drove it up here. I've got some work to do, but we should be able to get it running again. Well, running nicely again. It already runs kind of, but man, it's dirty. All the rust in the front has gotten a lot worse as well. Our first job is going to be setting up our pits, so we've sort of claimed a little space at the top of the hill here. We're going to get all our crap out of the cars, just like old tyres or new tyres and bits and pieces, wheels, tools, spare parts. I've got a whole 4th gen Prelude worth of suspension arms, knuckles in the car. I've got a gearbox. One of our other cars has 2 engines in the boot. Got a bunch of gearboxes. It's all going to get unloaded. So this is going to be the unpack build pits day. Alright, first job on the list for my car is going to be change the timing belt, because I haven't done it since I had the car, and the timing belt's like 20 years old. To avoid the risk of getting here, ordering something, go to the shops, pick the part up. I could have bought a timing belt here locally, and you get there and go, oh, they're out of stock for a week, and you're like, well, that's the end of my trip. So we bring all that stuff with us. So I brought a suitcase full of parts. I'm probably the only person in Japan running a freaking Dayco timing belt kit on their car, on their Prelude at least. The only thing I bought locally was some fuel hose, but other than that I got filters, water pump, timing belts, fuel pumps, I think I said that. Anyway, got a bunch of stuff to do, so let's get to it. Alright, as far as I know, the timing belt on this car hasn't been changed since it was new, so it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like under here. How scary it's going to be that I've been flogging this thing around a track for a few years with a timing belt that looks like... wow, this engine's really clean inside. I thought timing belt would be all like cracked and crap looking, but it looks fine. Okay, so regardless of how the timing belt looked, I've changed it anyway because I don't know how old it was, and if the timing belt breaks, the engine's pretty much ruined. So we've finished putting a new one on. I've just put it all back together. I've put a new fuel filter on it. I still have some other work to do. We're going to start it up now and just see if the timing belt's all on properly and doesn't sound flappy or weird. I know. So the car sounds like it's running happily. I changed the fuel filter, it's not leaking. That was an absolute peak to get off. It was so stuck. Ended up making this crazy split spanner to try and get it off, and we still broke the spanner in half. And then ended up having to actually cut the top of the fuel filter. Come on, focus camera. Actually had to cut the top of the fuel filter to get it off, but that's good. So the next job is new wiring, run all the way to the back. Redo this mess back here, and then rerun all these lines because they're all brittle and crap inside, so hopefully we can get that done in the rest of the day. Alright, so I've just got into the fuel cell. I've pulled out the surge tank, which is this. I've always been able to see this like through the filler cap, and I've never been able to work out what it was. So I've finally pulled the whole top off the fuel tank, and I can see inside there now. The problem that I'm having with this car is the fuel lines. This fuel cell and the whole car was built like a long time ago. And for one, all the fuel lines are like, they're just falling apart. That's what all these bits are. The other thing is, in a tank like this, there's no baffles, so there's foam in the tank, which is what these blocks are. Yes. And thanks, EG. And the foam stops all the fuel sloshing around. What happens is the foam goes bad over time. So this is the pickup line I just took off. As you can see, it's packed with foam, and I've actually been running this little clear filter on the pickup side to try and catch all the bits of foam and stuff. So I've got replacing the foam, and I'm replacing all the fuel lines and stuff. What I have to do is, this surge tank goes inside the fuel tank, and it's got these little pickup tubes in it that are actually shaped like this inside. So the idea is the fuel can slosh into it and then not back out. Then the feed line from the tank also returns into here. So this needs to be jammed in with the foam so it's not in there like flying around. Because this tank on the inside is actually like rubber, there's no brackets or anything in there, it's like a big rubber bag, so we've got to jam it in there with foam. So we'll start doing that, start replacing all these old fuel lines with this new roll of stuff that I got. Hopefully I can get this knocked over in a day, but we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully it's a day's work. It's going to be a bit of work. And then we can finish wiring the fuel pumps up, and then we can do the handbrake, and then I might be able to drive the car for a day before heading back to Australia. Well, hopefully it's not too wind noisy, but it's finally running. This is the last day of the trip, and I've only just got the car working. I've done a new timing belt, given it a service. It's got all new fuel system in the boot, so we've got new pumps, new lines, everything's going. I had a delay waiting for some parts to turn up, but it's finally time to give the car a wash and get all this moss off it. We got new pumps, all new fuel lines. Gonna try and see if this moss will wash off, which should be fun. See if this pressure washer eats my money again like I did last time. I also have no idea what any of the buttons do. Alright, I've just checked the air in the tyres. We're going to go on Toge first, which is probably kind of risky because I haven't drifted a car in like 3 years. Ish, 4 years, 2 years, 3, around there somewhere. We're going to go and see how the car drives. This is the first drive. The harness wasn't connected. I forgot about that. Oh man, I've got the I've got the shakes. That was pretty good for a first run driving for not like a few years. I can't believe I got away with a full 360 without hitting anything, but oh man, it's good fun. It's good to be back driving this car again. Right, I'm gonna head to the next track. I think this needs a bit of oil in it as well. And we're back in Australia. So hopefully you liked that video. I haven't uploaded anything for ages. I did do more driving through that day and then got back into the hang of things because that first bit of driving was pretty ropey, but it was alright. I've got the rest of that footage. If you want to see it, let me know and I'll put up a driving video. I did some runs on North Course, like a lot more high speed and stuff like that. But other than that, it's good to put up a video again. I haven't put up anything for ages, sorry, but it takes a hell of a lot of time making videos, and it was sort of taking a lot of the fun out of working on stuff because it was more time spent making the video and less time actually spent building things. But I've got some stuff to show you. It won't be in the immediate future, but we're getting there. And yeah, good to put a video up again, and I'll see everybody on the next video.